In this slideshow, I'll give you a few pointers on APA documentation style, but truly you will have to supplement this with accessing the library resources. As well, I will put up some resources from OWL Purdue and some other sites as well. There are a number of good sites that have material for you. This is the bare minimum basic. You will have to probably go beyond this. Anywho, in a typical APA essay or research paper, you will need to include a title page. That is the first part of your document. So that title page should include the title, your name, the name of your university, the submission date, as well as the course that you're entered in, and the name of your instructor as well. In general, formatting should include double space on all pages. Please use a 2.5 centimeter margin. Indent all paragraphs by one tab. Now, you may have some preferences or defaults on your program already. So if you're double spacing your document, then if you hit return, you might end up with a quadruple space. Go in and reset that so that you do not end up with a quadruple space. I don't want to see a double space, indent, and a quadruple space between paragraphs. Your document should be double spaced throughout. Make sure that you consecutively number your pages except for the title page, which should not include a page number. Also make sure that any fact that's beyond common knowledge is cited. I often see in student papers opinion discussed as though it's fact. So make sure that when you think something's a fact, it actually is a fact. And one of the ways you can do that is to cite it. If it is a statement of opinion, then it must be proven. So if it's a statement of opinion, it might, for example, be your thesis statement for the paper, and your paper would prove that thesis statement. All quotes and paraphrases must be cited. Now, I think everyone knows that you have to cite quotes, but you also must cite paraphrases. And again, all claims of opinion must be proven. So a typical paper will include four major elements: the title page, the abstract, the main body, which is the majority of the paper, and then a references page. Now, for the purpose of your essay, you do not need to have an abstract. Don't include an abstract. An abstract is its own thing, and I'm not going to get into that with you in this course. Now, in general, there are a couple of ways that you can go about stating your quotes. So this is one way. You start with the names of the writers or the researchers, whatever they are. You start with their names. You do not include first names, so Smith and Bartleby. And as soon as you've stated their names, you put in parentheses the date of the publication. And then you might go on to either paraphrase or quote the material. The other part of the citation, the in-text citation, is a page, a paragraph, or paragraph number. If you are quoting from a video, then you must include the timestamp here. So there are three basic parts to any in-text citation: the name of the author, the date of the publication, and the page or paragraph number of the portion that you're citing. Now, if you are paraphrasing something and you're paraphrasing a larger concept that maybe is delivered over the entire document over or over a larger portion of the document, then you don't need the page or paragraph number. But usually that's not the case. Usually you're quoting something specific or you're paraphrasing something specific. And in both of those cases, you absolutely need a page or paragraph number. Now I've given you 3 examples here of ways to cite a source or quote a source. In the first one, we have the names of the authors followed by the date. And then we have a leading into the quotation. Here we're not using Smith and Bartleby said or Smith and Bartleby state or any one of those types of attributions. We are embedding the quote into the sentence. And when you embed the quote into the sentence, you don't capitalize the first letter of the quote. In the second example, you can see that I used an attribution. I said, Smith and Bartleby state. Okay, so when we have that dialogue tag like state or said, then there's a convention to place a comma after it and follow that with a quotation that has been capitalized. So Smith and Bartleby 2007 state, comma, and then we have since capitalized. Now the third way that you can do it is to include both the name of the author and the date and the page number in the citation at the end of the quote. So here we have, since 1961, there has been a steady decline in SAT scores, and now we have all of that information contained in those parentheses. So this shows you the 3 primary elements that you need in any in-text quote. We need an author, we need a date, and we need a firm placement. The thing with APA is the focus is very much on allowing the reader to find the documentation easily if they want to. So this gives me all the information that I need. From here, I can go to the end of the document to the references page, go down the list, go to Smith and Bartleby, and if there's more than one Smith and Bartleby, then I go to the one from 2007. I get the additional information. I go off and I check the source, and I find page 23, and I should be able to very easily find this particular quotation, and perhaps I want to know more about the context of that quotation. So this is the beautiful thing about APA. It's all very predictable, and it's very easy to find the specific quotation that's been quoted. So all of these conventions within APA are very purposeful. As annoying as they are purposeful. Now watch the punctuation. This is one of the things that students often get wrong because it seems counterintuitive. Let's look at the last example here. You can see that the quotation marks come right after the word scores, and then we have the parentheses with the information, and then the period, the terminal punctuation is after that. So please remember to do that. The only exception is when you have a block quote. So block quotes are articulated differently, as you can see. A block quote does not have quotation marks around it, and it is followed by a period and then the page or paragraph or timestamp after that. So when we don't have the quotation marks, we end with the terminal punctuation and follow that with the parentheses with whatever information, additional information we haven't already given our reader. Now, a word of advice. You are writing a short paper. Do not use more than one block quote in your paper, because it's very short. If you're using 2 or 3 or 4 block quotes, then you are quoting a lot of other material that is not your own writing. Make sure that when you use block quotes, you use them strategically. They should only be used for something really important, something that you cannot restate yourself in your own words easily, something that's really fundamental to your core argument, something that will really enhance your paper. So don't use block quotes lightly. Block quotes are only used for 40 or more words. So yes, sometimes you do have to count the number of words in your quotation. If it's under 40 words, you don't use the block quote format. If it's over 40 words, then indeed you do use the block quote format. We always introduce a block quote in APA with an independent clause followed by a colon. So APA is very fussy about these details. Don't forget that paraphrases also require citations, and I've given you an example here. And here's a secondary source. Secondary sources are cited in this way: Johnson's study, and then in parentheses, as cited in Beattie, 1998, revealed, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, there are the three main ways to cite in-text quotations, but then there are these various variations as well that you have to keep in mind. So if you're not sure, look it up.